BDP episode 8. Number 8. You made it in the first 10. How's it feel?
Pretty good. Feels great.
Pretty good.
I feel honored. I feel grateful. I feel great.
Blessed.
I'm in a good mood.
This is actually, Brianna and I are the only members who have been on every single pod. 1 through 8.
I thought I missed one.
You have not missed
I
one.
didn't? Oh. Okay.
You've been on the
You
ball.
guys are fucking setting records.
I know. We are setting records out here in these streets.
Do you have to bleep out me cursing?
Did you say a curse word?
I said
No,
fuck.
I say a lot of curse words.
Oh, jeez.
I said fucking.
Oh, jeez. Well, it happens. It happens. Connie. Sorry, saying Connie.
Yeah. She understands.
Yeah.
She understands.
So how we doing?
Good.
How's it feel to be out here in the studio? Your first time out
I
here.
love it. You guys set this up pretty nice. We got Pitchfork up there, Houdini, one that I don't even remember from Southern California, which is an absolute unit. And then just some other, I just love it. Love all the little decorations, bows hanging up.
Even got the hunting hat up here. It's got to be in here.
Yeah. And then,
Robin
the
Hood.
room really serves, many purposes. You convert from this office to a pod. You got studio lights, and then wham, bam, you pull the couch out, and it turns into a bed. It's very multifaceted.
It's like a Swiss Army knife of a room.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
We were talking today about the importance
Nick
of
got it.
space.
I got it. Yeah.
I did too, but also we were talking
Social.
about the importance of space management.
Mm-hmm.
And
This
this
room really-
room is excellent
Oh,
in space
100%,
management.
Yeah.
Set
up
It
great.
needs a bit more storage, I feel like, but other than that,
Maximizing square footage.
That's what we're doing.
I fuck with that.
100%.
I like that a lot.
Yeah. Okay, well, we'll jump right into it. It was a holiday recently. It was President's Day. What did everyone
it's
do to
actually, I
celebrate?
believe, Washington's birthday, but we now call it President's Day.
Is that what it is? Is
My phone
GW's
showed
birthday?
it as Washington's
OG,
birthday.
yeah.
Wow. You know his teeth, I learned recently. They say they're made out of wood, but turns out
No.
a lot of them were horse teeth and also from slaves.
Yeah.
Human teeth, yeah.
That's crazy.
That is pretty wild.
That is
Yeah.
disturbing. You have someone else's, you get bones and stuff in you, but can you imagine, chewing with someone else's teeth? That's
Dude,
wild.
Shane Gillis does it good, on his stand-up.
What were you saying about Shane Gillis? We were talking about George Washington's
Oh,
teeth.
Shane
and now
Gillis, his stand-up on Netflix called Beautiful Dogs. He does a skit on George Washington, and it's fucking hilarious.
Dang.
Yeah,
I'll have to
You gotta
check
check
that
it
out.
out.
I'll have to check that out.
Yes.
but he
yes,
talks
you
about
will.
his teeth, and I don't know, it's hilarious. Shane Gillis is funny as fuck.
Some people say I look like him on the comments.
Dude, kinda, yeah.
I get a comment and they're like, I didn't know Shane Gillis hunted or whatever.
That's kind of
Sometimes,
crazy.
yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess that's
Putting-
cool.
Putting white dudes on the map.
Yeah. Shout out to that.
Yep.
Brianna just ate some barbecue.
I did, yes.
What'd you
I had
get?
to eat. I had barbecue fries, so I had some pulled pork, some jalapenos, some pickled onions, some queso cheese on them, and then a Caesar salad.
That's quite a mix.
It was, but it was very good. I think that was the, other than a lot of candy, I had a lot of candy today. Sitting on the
jeez.
bus,
Quite
doing nothing.
quite the diet.
Yeah, it was. It was a lot of peppermints and a couple little. I had a lot of lollipops.
Lick it like a lollipop.
Unfortunately, I can't lick
Shout out
the
to Lil
lollipop.
Wayne.
I end up chewing the lollipop. So.
I was always more of
Yeah.
a sucker rather than a
And
licker
that only
of
lasts for a short
lollipop.
time for me, and once I can feel it, I can crack it with my teeth. It's just the urge to crack it off the stick that I can't just.
Wasn't
Even
there
in my
a
mouth
game
anymore.
for a while where if you could lick to the center of one of those
I think that
True
was just the
lollipop.
premise of their commercial. I don't think the goal was to
That
actually
you would
lick
get
it to the
a
center.
free
I thought you
25
got-
pack or something.
That's what I thought. I thought you got a prize, and also didn't they if
I
you
think
it was
there
good
is
luck
a-
if there was a star on it or something.
I don't know if there's
Oh,
like
the
a
Indian
Guinness
shooting a
record.
star.
Yeah,
Those type of pop or
that's the ones
suckers?
I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think there is because that was the premise of the commercial is how many licks does it take to get to the center? There's a phrase.
Mm.
or
I think that was a Lil
how,
Kim song
How many licks
too.
does it take?
Was it?
How many licks does it take till you get to the center of it?
I could see Kim.
Yeah.
Kim
Yeah,
saying that.
I'm
but that's what
pretty
the
sure.
commercial had a little rhyme, a little tidbit like that. And then I think there was like a thing going for a while of like, you know, how many licks it actually took. I don't know if it's like a Guinness record or something, but there's like a record or number that it actually takes to get to the center of the
I feel like
how
that's-
many licks it is.
That's like a Mr. Beast video when he first started. So before he became like the biggest YouTuber, his thing was he would do videos of him counting to like 1 million, and it would be like 20 hours long of just him counting to 1 million. That's how he started gaming, and then he started
bored.
And then he started doing like these challenges, and yeah, he literally would do like crazy like 20-hour videos of him doing something crazy, and then he grew, and then it came into like giving away Teslas, and then now he does like buys islands.
What, giving away what?
Like gives fresh water.
You mean Teslas?
Teslas. Tezzies.
That's like a beef stroganoff.
Yeah, beef stroganoff.
Stroking off.
A stroganoff. Yeah.
Stroking off.
Stroganoff.
We're all saying the same thing.
With a G.
Beef stroking off.
That's what. That's what I'm saying. Stroganoff.
Stroganoff with a G.
Yeah, stroking off.
Yeah, beef stroking off.
I'm saying the same thing. Cool
Elvis
whip.
is not amused.
Cool whip. Say whip.
Say
whip.
Yeah.
Now say cool whip. Cool whip.
Yeah. Why are you saying it like
Stewie's
that?
a legend.
Yeah, for
Stewie
sure.
a legend. What's the best?
Weird.
What do we think the best cartoon of all time is?
Of all time?
All time?
Yeah.
Wouldn't you probably have to put like Simpsons there?
I think
That's probably the longest running one.
I'd
for
say you'd
sure.
almost have to put that as like, even though I never really watched Simpsons, I feel like
I don't.
we would have to. That would almost be like a given.
I think
almost
that's
don't
Or are we going
consider
off
the
our
Simpsons.
favorites?
Let's go our personal favorites. I would agree that overall, I think The Simpsons is probably the
But
best.
I guess when I hear the word cartoon, I think of like kids,
Yeah.
and I don't consider, even though it's animated, I don't consider The Simpsons a cartoon.
it is a cartoon.
100%. Yeah.
It's a cartoon. Same with
yeah,
Family
see,
Guy,
it's like
South
so-
because it is like
See,
it
that's-
could be kid friendly too, just because they don't curse or like there's not
Yeah.
like sexual.
I would
like,
not consider South
Well,
Park a
well,
a
cartoon.
lot of kids probably wouldn't understand what's going on, and adults would. So they can kind of almost reach a couple different audiences. Like you're not like some people aren't going to want their kids watching like Family Guy. Or
Dude, for
shit
sure.
like that.
Like my mom used to always watch like Seinfeld at night when I was a kid, and I thought it was funny. But then like years later, I went back and watched Seinfeld, and I was like, this is way funnier now because
Yeah.
like I get a lot more of the jokes and the innuendos.
Yeah.
Whereas a kid, I didn't.
Well,
pick up
nowadays
on 'em.
kids, I'm sure, know all of the innuendos that
Oh,
are like.
yeah,
If a
for
kid
sure.
put on South Park, I think they'd understand it completely,
yeah.
and I don't think it would benefit them in
Yeah.
any way.
Sounds
Well,
morally.
legendary too.
Well, super legendary. They're not scared to go for the throat on anything, which I think is cool.
Yeah.
I will say too, speaking about like kids and stuff, I think it's wild. I just learned that schools, like even elementary schools, will have like no vaping signs in the school.
Yeah.
Like kids are hitting like vape pens. Oh
Yeah.
god! Oh,
Oh, that's classic
Yep.
thing just happened.
Yep. Surprise,
James spilled
surprise.
a beer.
James
we're gonna
spilled.
leave it there.
You notice nobody reacts anymore. It's just like, oh,
It's not like,
Yeah,
oh my
there
god,
we go.
you spilt a beer. It's like,
oh, you spilled.
This is
Yeah.
like sixth beer he spilt today.
No, this is the
Yeah.
first one.
That
actually,
is true. Yeah, the first
Yeah.
one that we've seen.
Yeah.
It's the first one. So actually,
Oh yeah. Well, it's almost like crazy to think about though that it's like, oh, there's no
James
vaping
wasting
sign,
alcohol?
but- yeah, that's.
That is
That
crazy
is-
to think.
I know. I'm surprised
I
he's
gotta
not
get
licking
down
the
there.
floor
I
up
should
like
probably
Albus.
get-
Like,
I should.
If I was drinking right now, I would be upset. Spam.
What
I
a-
don't know.
spam call.
Oh.
Okay,
Not a
so
big spam guy.
so
like kids are genuinely taking in nicotine. Like, as a kid, like I knew what a cigarette was. Like I knew, like my dad was smoking tobacco. I knew that that's not good for you and whatnot. I don't know if because this thing is so filled with, smells like a strawberry when you smell it.
Oh, it
There
smells
is
great.
no
It's like a
like,
little air freshener.
there's no sensor in your brain telling you this is bad for you.
Yeah.
Like, and when you taste it, they don't choke on it. It doesndoesn't burn your throat. Like, they
Tastes
might
good
cough,
usually.
but after that, like, They're cool. They're minty sometimes, depending on what flavor you get. Like, nothing about it, not that I ever want them to stop selling them, nothing about it tells a brain to a kid, like, this is bad for me.
Well, so my question would be, three conservatives here in this room, for the most part.
Are you assuming?
No, I am assuming, but here's my question. With her logic, is the banning of flavors as a law then effective? Because if you're saying that kids don't think it's bad because they're sweet and smell good, if you ban that, is that potentially a good thing?
Is that why they were banning that, though?
Correct.
That's what they said.
The goal is to get children to stop using
They said that it was marketed towards kids.
I think it might be a control grab.
I think it is. But do you think it's
another power grab?
Is it effective, though, you think?
Nah, because you can still get that shit anywhere.
Yeah.
I still buy mine in the stores.
Yeah.
In the state of California.
Technically, you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what it gets rung up as. I should check that next time. Like, I should see what it's labeled on the screen as. Like, what are they checking out?
Like, they probably, tack a little bit more on there because I know people want them. Extra few bucks.
You mention me, win-win for you. I mention you, lose-lose for me. Millions of views. Or does he say billions?
I think millions.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, anyway.
But I don't know. That's
actually
pretty wild.
That actually reminds me, too, of one of the things we wanted to talk about. We try not to talk about stuff before the pod, so it's fresh on the pod, but we did kind of talk about certain things we wanted to talk about. One of which was that right here is the true origin of Bow Disciples.
Big Dick?
No, it's Team Big Dick.
It started as
a lift, lunge, shoot.
Yep.
And that reminds me.
I'm sorry, what? Was that the original name you came up with?
Lift, lunge, shoot.
Yep.
We didn't try to rip off Cameron Haynes.
Actually, it was more of a rip off. Well, some
Corey Gregory. We just ripped everybody off.
It was a rip off of Corey Gregory and Cam Haynes.
Yeah.
Shout out
I would say that was around
Shout out
already,
to both
right?
of them.
So
Yeah, it's not even like that's more.
That's
like,
out of respect.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, to both.
100%.
And you know what's really cool about Corey and Cam? They're both still killing it.
Yeah, for sure.
10 years later. Mm-hmm. But I was thinking about
that is true.
The first hunt we ever filmed after Bow Disciples was born, and the first video was the music video, then a backpack review, and then we went on a hunt together. And when we were on that hunt, Kamikaze dropped on that hunt, and we listened to it in the tent.
Yeah.
And we were sharing a tent. Not much cuddling because it was hot.
Oh.
We were sharing a tent.
And
a two-person tent.
Wow.
I had T-Mobile at the time, and I remember my service sucked ass.
So I had to play
So you had the
Kamikaze.
service, so you're like, dude, new album drop. Yeah, it was actually pretty cool.
We were supposed to be in bed early, but the album dropped.
Is it the one? I feel like I've heard this story. James just kept listening to it over and over again, or something.
We all did.
We did.
We
played it on repeat. And the thing what was crazy about Kamikaze was he was coming off this album called Revival, which I liked some joints on Revival, but it was heavily criticized as this is trash.
So then he dropped. Where he does all the really weird.
No, that's Relapse.
Oh.
Which is also a great album.
Relapse is great, but on Revival, he talking about a lot of adult stuff. There's a lot of females on the hooks, softer beats, and people were like, this ain't it.
Mm-hmm.
So then Kamikaze dropped as we're out there, and he's dissing everybody under the sun. You want to diss me?
Yeah.
Me?
Let me explain just how to make greatness straight out the gate. I'm about to break it down.
And he going crazy on this, just spraying up everybody. And we're I remember we're in the tent, and we're like, whoa!
When who's the one he does with Joyner Lucas? The Ringer?
Lucky You.
Or Lucky You.
Lucky You.
When Lucky You came on, we're it was what? 10:15, 10:30 at night. We get up early to go hunt. And I just remember, we're in there 10:30, just we know we should be in bed, but we're just freaking,
And the start of the album, too, we're in the tent. You hit play on track 1, you just hear... So crazy. But what do you think? And it's kind of cool. A lot of people probably at this point, so many years in, probably don't even know you were right there in the very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
How was that? the era of trying to start it and nobody watched at all. Like, what was that like?
Sure,
Like,
I know it was kind of wild. Because, yeah, we were doing lift, lunge, shoot. So, like, as usual, we both always pretty heavily been in the gym.
Yep.
And then I remember at that time, I don't even think James was, like, I don't even know if you were making hunting videos. If you did, I think it was, like, for just, like, personal, like, just to, like, record your local hunts. I don't think you did anything out of state. But I remember, like, he would post, like, stories and, like, pictures on Facebook of like a mule deer or something that he glassed up and like post a story on it. So it's kind of cool. I remember you were in New Mexico and I was like following like your hunting, your whole story out there with Ted. And I was like, shit, this is pretty cool. And when we got back, I was like, dude, you got to keep like, I could almost envision like being there. And then James was like, dude, you got to get a bow, man. Like, so we can start shooting. So I think I ended up getting like a bear ready to hunt bow for like $500. Went and got it set up at the bow and arrow shop. Just got arrows and whatever, and then started shooting all the time. But yeah, we would literally like shoot. I wasn't working a whole lot because I was pretty new to Dean's. So I was working like nights, I don't know, sometimes here and there, part-time felt like. And then James was just starting this real estate career.
We're basically both unemployed.
Yeah, but we would go eat at like Ramona Cafe every morning.
Unemployed and living
Pretty
together.
No, we weren't actually living together yet. He was at a different spot, but
I was up in the Estates, I think, still.
You were in the Estates
with Daryl and Kristen.
Yep, and that's where I got my Subaru from for $200. Shout out to Kristen, that was dope. But cool car. It was. We never get it right.
Yeah.
We worked on it a lot. We just couldn't get it right. I made a great turnaround though. I bought it for $200. Probably put like 200 into it. I think I sold it for like almost $2,000. So I did pretty good on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was weird, dude. Like we would do everything to get it right. It just wouldn't get there, dude. It was like everything kept popping up. But hopefully whoever got it, it was like we had it all ironed out by then, hopefully. But
so, or back to the origin story here, because I know like the origin story of the name. I've heard that one.
Oh yeah.
That one's a funny one.
It's a classic.
But little, rated R, but or X,
not
or
really.
whatever you want to call it.
Really.
No. But so you get a bow, Nick. No, at this point, no YouTube videos have been filmed yet or
no.
put
This
on
is like
YouTube.
a couple years.
2015. So. How Nick and I became best buddies is we're from the same hometown. Shout out to Ramona, California, baby.
Yes, sir.
So we're both Ramona. Boy, he not from there, but like he lived there a long time.
Spent like half my life.
Yeah, so we had like bumped paths because him and my brother were in the same high school class. So we always knew of each other and we're always like cool. And then one day I remember I was at the bank pulling cash out and he drove by with a buddy in the car. And we're like, yo, what up? It's crazy to see you. And he's like, dude, you're in like really good shape. You look great. Because I was always super skinny. And I had started lifting and he lifted. And he's like, dude, you look great. Like, and I was like,
Men
okay,
are
cool.
so strange.
Yeah.
So your friendship struck up based on
You look good, bro.
essentially complimenting / hitting on each other. That's how.
Well, pretty
how
much.
it
Just,
started.
I would say just bigging each other up.
Bigging each other
that's
up.
the way that the two straight men would say it.
100%.
Yeah.
But then what happened was,
It's like a woman telling a woman she's hot,
Yeah.
but
with women it might end different. You never know. But
Yeah.
it was crazy because then like maybe a month later I was at Ramona Fitness. Shout out Peter San Nicholas. And Nick was there. So we start talking and he's like, yo, I had just come back from New Mexico. It was like 2014 or 15. And he goes, dude, your videos, like those, they were cool. The Facebook videos I was posting. And he was like, I would love to like get into shooting bows more. Like when can we shoot? And I said, you can come over right after this if you want. And he goes, okay, cool.
I think I
You
just
guys
got my bow.
sound like the starting of a male relation.
Pretty much.
Oh yeah, for it is.
Pretty-
yeah,
yeah.
It is
So-
a relationship.
So he comes over after the gym. He rolls over and we're shooting bows, and it was kind of funny because we had fun shooting, and my parents, had never met him, and he comes over in a cutoff and all
Long
this stuff. He got
hair.
the neck tats, the long hair.
Oh, you have your
blasted.
long
I
hair
have my
then
long
too.
hair. Yeah.
I remember I was like, when mom and dad meet him, I'm not sure what they're gonna think. So you walk in the door, and
This is more and more.
Straight up.
I remember my mom being like, "This
I'm
gotta
not
be
sure
a felon."
what they think.
Yeah, he gotta be a felon. My mom thinking, you know.
Yeah, like his record's clean.
Oh yeah,
So
we
then,
both got.
fast forward, your relationship has blossomed.
Oh,
You're
100%,
shooting
yeah.
a bow, and then, but I know you guys come up with the name together. So
Yep.
prior to the
He
name
came up with the
having
name.
It was like
been
Lift One
created,
Mhm.
were there any videos filmed before that? So
No.
the channel didn't exist yet.
Shoot. I think
No.
like we do like little shit on like Instagram. So we started an Instagram page,
Yeah.
Lift Lunge Shoot.
Which is now literally the same
Oh,
Bow
yeah, that's
Disciples page.
crazy.
We changed the name. So if you
Oh.
scroll way back, you can find videos from us in like 2015 on the same page.
Yeah, scroll way
Gotcha.
back and throw likes on those.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
super
yeah, yeah.
old.
That would be crazy.
I had to pull a couple down just because cancel culture, but
Yeah.
there's still a lot of good funny
Yeah.
stuff. We film like a lot of like funny skits.
Yeah.
So then you guys then create the name together.
Mm-hmm. He did. He came up
The
with
origin of the name is created.
Mm-hmm.
Team BD.
Yep.
Yeah.
Team Big Dick.
Yeah.
And
That's how
then
it
we would
started.
say that, like, what up, Team BD, like, before, and then Chelsea, you could tie it home on how we got to Bow Disciples.
So yeah, I remember we were like inside the trailer, weren't we? That was when I had my fifth wheel.
Yeah.
So James, like, I don't know if he just came in or what, but
But something was said, and he's like, "What up, BD?" Talking to me, and then she was like, "BD, what does that mean?" And then she was like, "I think I know what it means." And just off the cuff, I was like, "No, it means Bow Disciples."
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh yeah, I'm sure it does." And then after that, we're just kind of like, we would say it
The same
joking
fucks.
around.
Yeah, we really
Like
would.
BD would be like, "Oh, Bow Disciples," and then it just became Bow Disciples, which
Yeah.
I think is
I think
that's
it's
a cool name. Yeah,
I think it's
I
for
like
sure.
that it wasn't, like a force, like, oh, let's come up with a
No.
name.
No, it's
Organic,
literally just
organic.
like the first like bow archery, and then just like the first D word I thought, like, just
Yeah.
disciples.
Yeah, which is
I must have
crazy,
went
too.
to church that week.
Well, one thing I want to say, too, about Nick that maybe not everyone knows, but, like, he's very musically talented, so he's very good at, like,
I'm
rhyme
still
schemes.
hoping that he'll get up on the stage.
I hope...
Once he sees the 17-year-old who's practicing
Oh.
every day
Oh, dude,
to
I
get
bet.
up there, you need to get up right behind
Jack
him.
is
Go do
crazy.
a duet together.
Yeah,
That'd be nuts.
it might work out.
I
I
hope-
honestly thought I was going to be on this job a lot longer.
I hope...
So I was
hope
like, I do not have time to be doing like anything.
I
No,
hope
but you
that
know,
at
you
Bow
just go up there and
Disciples
rip
Challenge...
one, you know?
yeah, we might have to talk about that.
I hope at Bow
Shout out
Disciples
to Jack.
Challenge, him and Jack end up there together, because Jack has another surprise feature lined up. So he already got one. I hope Nick lines up in there too. Maybe even the
Yeah,
boy
Yeah, I
goes
think
up
the
and
boy
raps,
should just,
you know.
maybe
Maybe
you
the boy-
host. Maybe
Yeah,
you
yeah.
host.
We'll see what happens.
Hey, maybe we give you a spot where you just go up there and spit a freestyle.
Maybe you guys
See
do
how
the
that
original.
goes.
I gotta
So
write
that's
it
what
down.
it is. Because I remember having
The
this
walk on
conversation.
water joint.
All the way back to it. The very first video on the channel is the music video.
Yeah, walk on water. Mhm.
I think that may be the highest I've ever tried sounding.
Which
I swear that's
Like
higher. You can
Beyonce.
sing higher than I can sing.
I was like, dude, this is really hard. And I remember I wanted to do like a few more takes. I'm like, I feel like I could dial in the sound a little better. You're like, nah, that's good.
yeah.
I'm sending this shit. 'Cause
Honestly,
we didn't
that,
work on it a lot.
that song, I'm proud of the song. I mean, I'm not a musician, he is. But anyway, getting back to it, like, because he has the musical talent and also, like, you know, he's a hip-hop fan like me, too. He knows what words work together. And, like, when he came up with Bow Disciples, it was, like, partially because that was what, like, flowed well as words together. So when you say the name, it flows nice. Like
it does
some,
flow nice.
like
yeah.
some channels, you say
I
the
always
names.
find myself
Bow
typing it
Disciples.
as one word.
It sounds like one word.
Yeah.
And that's only because he has the knowledge to do that.
Okay.
But then, yeah, when we came up with the name, or actually then I was like, Nick, we should start a YouTube channel. Like, you know, I got the film. I know how to
And
film
by
and
this
make
point, you
videos.
guys now live together?
No, that was later.
Oh.
That was later. So, but it was like, I know how to make videos.
Yeah, that was
You
early.
know, you're a good personality. Like, both of us have personalities that can play off one another. So let's do this thing, and maybe one day it can be big. And then we stuck together for probably like, the first few months, and then he got super busy with work, and it was like, I was kind of like, well, I don't want to stop doing it. I can still do it. So then I started kind of like taking it on its own path, but he was always in
Just
the
remember,
mix.
you know, when he starts making like $1 million a year, like, you need to make sure you work yourself into the contract for a percentage.
I did not do anything to take it to where it's at now.
And I'd be like,
Maybe showed up
hey,
in
my
videos here and
name,
there.
I created that name.
That was when I bought my house in St. George too, because we came back from that Utah hunt.
Mm-hmm.
Dude,
Arizona, you mean?
Or Arizona. We came back from that Arizona hunt. And didn't I just buy my house?
I think it was like pretty
I think it was
recent.
being built.
Mm-hmm.
So then also like, you know, I'm moving to Utah, even though I was still working in SoCal and jobs and stuff like that. But yeah, I just remember at that time you just fucking
Yeah, went on the
putting
gas.
the work in for sure.
Well, it was the work, like the consistency, but then I gotta say, and I always say this, like, the channel not to where it is because of like anything necessarily I did. I of course was always consistent with editing, with filming, but I got really lucky on a big video early. That poaching video like blew up, and then we went from like, I'd be so stoked to hit 100 views, like so pumped, and then that one hit like 1,000, and then it went to like 100,000. It just kept running, and then the subscribers on a year to the day of the channel's inception, we hit 1,000 subs, and then there was plenty of low peaks where I'd post videos and like 200 people watch maybe, and then over time it just like grew and grew and grew. But again, like I think it's a testament to any of our careers, whether it's me as an influencer or me as a real estate guy or her as a military person, or especially you as a welder.
Mm-hmm.
I was there at the beginning when we were basically unemployed, but then
yeah.
like you kept going to the post, and now he's a super successful, amazingly talented welder with great jobs. But guess what? He could have quit.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't quit. It's the same thing with the channel.
Oh, I thought about it. I think everybody thinks about it, but
I've thought about it.
yeah.
But the thing is, like, I know that your welding career is still, like, at its infancy, and that's how I feel with the channel. I know that in, like, 5 years it'll be way bigger. But it's only because you stick with it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's just like what we were talking about today, like earlier. You know, just fucking... We're just talking about...
What was that pause right there?
I don't know. I was like, does he got a spit?
I forgot what I was talking about for a second.
I was like, I think he's got to take a moment to spit or something. I don't know. But then it was just a long pause.
I
I'm
thought
like,
it was a spit
he's staring off into nowhere.
But I will
I
say
don't know where
this,
this
too.
is going.
What were we talking about?
Nick taught me a move real quick. We would make these meals when we did live together. We would always cook together. We always made like the spiciest stuff. We'd literally be sitting on the couch. I'd be in the couch, he'd be in the chair. We'd be sitting in our boxers eating food. We'd look over. We're both just dripping sweat down our face.
Just chugging gallons of water.
Gallons of water, and it was, the food was so hot. But then I would watch him. He'd take like 2 bites and like set it down and like chill for like 10 minutes, and I would just be housing it. And I'm like,
he's like, I like that technique.
I gotta try that technique of like the pause eating. It was crazy, but
No, but the pause, what I was thinking about, like earlier when we were talking at the pool about like where we're at in our careers now, and like how, like, dude, I feel even with like the success like you've had with the channel and I've had with welding, I feel like I'm like fucking just about to really like climb that hill, you know, like I feel great. Just, I don't know, everything. I think the channel's gonna do the same thing, you know.
Yeah.
Just keep growing.
I mean, I think it's persistence in anything, you know. It's just like, I promise, even now that the channel's like one of the bigger ones in the space, it still is like sometimes it's just it might be a 3-month span where the YouTube's just not pushing the videos the same. They'll be getting less views, less action, less comments, less likes. And it's like, you could either stop because you're like self-conscious about it, or you just like put it down harder, and eventually the algorithm goes, okay, we're going to put you up now. Like, you know, and it's the same with welding. Yeah, you might have a slow period, but if you just keep after it, eventually you'll probably get that work coming back around.
Dude, yeah, and like nowadays I usually want those slow periods. I'm like, I'm just going to take time off, but there's always shit that pops up.
Yep. And I will say too, when we first started shooting together, I was shooting probably the Bowtech Guardian at the time. To be honest with you, was probably what I was shooting when we first started linking up. Not that one actually, the one
Was that the
before that.
Experience?
That's the Experience. That was the one. As we got a little later, I was shooting the Experience, but
because that's not the one you were even shooting when I met you. It was the one you just raffled off. Right?
I was shooting
that
the
one.
Revolt.
Was always
You met me
The snow
late.
camo one?
Yeah, she met me late in the game, so I had the Revolt. You know, with him, I had the Guardian, which I had before that, which I shot that for 5 years.
What's that one at your parents' house right now?
It is, yeah. It's one of my favorite bows ever.
So I feel like we don't have any wall space. I feel like we could make some. Probably not in here, but like a
chronological.
Unfortunately, you just sold last one, but like a chronological, I like an evolution wall from your kid's bow to like whatever your like high tops are.
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have a lot of my very first bows. That was my plan, but a lot of my very first bows got like given away to kids or whatever. I don't have them, but now it's different because I have like brand deals. You know what I mean? Like I get bows every year, so I'm not going to keep all of them. They're all like, but the ones that kept like a huge period of life for me, I keep. So I have the Guardian, I have the Experience, but I was shooting the Guardian when we linked up, and you were shooting that Bear, and dude, I'm telling you, for how cheap that bow was, it was nice. Like the draw cycle on that.
Remember, I had it like maxed out on like everything,
and it felt great. Like 70 pounds stroked, it was like 50.
Yeah, for sure. It was nice.
It was slow, like it was a dog. That was why it was so smooth. But it was a great bow. It was small, like axle to axle,
like 15 inches.
Yeah, it was small, but it was a good bow.
Yeah.
And I was like, that was the first time I was...
Felt like a crossbow that you just like put on its side. Shooting it sideways.
Yeah. So he had that, and then he had a birthday one year. And he had a birthday 1 year.
I was like, every year.
1 year, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was his first and only birthday.
His only one, yeah. So he had a birthday.
Fuck that guy.
And Chelsea was like, she was saying, Nick really wants a new bow, blah, blah, blah. He really wanted a Hoyt. And we got in with the whole group of our friends. It was like 10 of us. And they were like, we should just all pitch in. Everyone $100. We'll get him a bow. I said, well, we got to get him a, Bowtech. So we got him the Reign 7, and we have a classic picture where we're all standing there and he holding the bow up. I'm holding a 30 rack of Bush Light for some reason.
We were going to the rodeo.
We were going to the rodeo.
We had a big group. Dude,
you shot that bow almost 10 years, like 7 years, and you just recently switched to the RX-7 carbon Hoyt. But tell us how
he finally got his Hoyt. 10 years later, he finally got his Hoyt.
Did I want a Hoyt?
You wanted a Hoyt bad. Yeah.
Probably because of Cam Haynes.
Cam or maybe Michael Waddell or something. But yeah.
Is he a Hoyt guy too?
Yeah, he has been for like decades.
Dude, that's crazy. 'Cause I remember one time I went and shot. There was like an archery shop up in Temecula for a while. I think it was like a gun shop too.
Oh, I remember you told me about that place.
But I went up there and I shot I don't know what like the models were at that time, but I shot a Hoyt, I shot a Matthews, and then I think I'd already shot the Reign 7 at Bruce's shop. But I remember back then I thought the Hoyts would like, it seemed like they easily wanted to cam over. Like if you weren't like holding that shit back, it seemed like it always wanted to jump, yeah, for sure. But that Reign 7, that thing, has been awesome. And then I just got a Hoyt RX-7 back in December.
Give a little backstory on that, just because the story's kind of crazy how that... Because, like, a new bow wasn't even, like, in the plans. Future. So how did
honestly, I wasn't even... Like, I've thrown around the idea for a while, but I'm like, I don't really need one, because this one does fine. The fucking Reign 7, it's always done fine. It's a great bow. It's easy. It sits well when you draw it back. But, so I went back to our farm in northern Minnesota to go hunt and hang out with my brothers, since my middle brother's farming with my oldest brother now.
Do your brothers also look like you?
My oldest brother is like 6'2", 6'3", big dude. Yeah,
I
my oldest brother looks
pictures
pretty
now.
identical, yeah. For sure.
And
We might have to go visit his farm in northern Minnesota.
oh my god! Do we gotta bring Whitney on that one?
Yes, we do. Yeah. Me and Whitney need to go. I mean, we'll leave it
Hey,
here.
I'm
I'll film.
6 feet.
Both of my brothers are single.
Look at God.
Look at God. Yeah.
Whitney's gonna be happy to listen to this pod.
Yeah.
This should be hitting
So,
Instagram real fast.
I fly out of Vegas into Fargo, North Dakota, and then I got like a 2.5 hour drive up
to
to our
visit
farm.
all your very unattractive brothers.
Exactly, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Uglies, for sure. I definitely got the looks of the family.
Yeah.
But,
watch him be like the worst looking.
yeah. They're like, oh my God, you're ugly.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I get in. So, I worked literally up until I had to leave to go to Vegas. So, like, I literally working, putting tools away, packing up my shit, hopping in the Volt, and driving to Las Vegas. So I get into Vegas and like self-parking, like I'm like getting kind of lost. The guy's like, oh, go this way. So I go out that way and it was the exit. And I'm like, dude, I'm not trying to exit. So I had to loop back around. I'm already like pushing like the deadline. Mm-hmm. So I get the car parked. I get all my shit out and I just kind of book it. I was like, I don't even know if I locked the car. But at that point, it wasn't an option. If the car's gone when I get back, the car's gone when I get back. So I get in the airport, get everything checked. I'm all good. Like, I was there early enough for them to get everything on. And in the plane, so I land in Fargo, and I, take my phone off airplane because I always keep it on airplane mode on the plane.
Safety.
Good rule.
Safety
follower.
for sure.
Safety first. As Paul
But
says.
so I'm like texting Chelsea, texting my brothers, and then I see a voicemail on my phone. So I go to click on it, and it's 702 Las Vegas, and I'm like, oh fuck. So I listen to the voicemail, and they're like, hey, we got your one of your bags missed the flight. I'm like, I hope it's my clothes, like I hope it's everything else but my bow and my arrows and shit, 'cause I can go buy clothes. And they're like, yeah, it's in a hard case, it's locked, blah blah blah. And I'm like, fuck. So I call her and I'm like, hey, this is like the reason I came back here. It was like to hunt, for like a week. And they're like, okay, Alex, sorry, that's our fault. Like, we'll get it on the next flight. And I'm like, well, can you send it to Grand Forks, North Dakota? Because it's like an hour and a half closer. So she's like, yeah, for sure. Sends me the flight info, everything. Am I going too long on this? Should I shorten it up?
Keep
Okay.
going. This is intriguing.
Okay.
I'm liking this.
So my brother's like, usually they'll go to Grand Forks to get all their supplies and stuff like that. So she sends me like confirmation. It's this flight, gets in at like 11:50 a.m. in Grand Forks. I'm like, all right, cool. So I get there and I go inside and I'm like looking at the flight info, and it's a small airport in Grand Forks, North Dakota. Like, it's not a big airport. I'm looking at the flight info. I don't see anything coming from Vegas. So I'm like, what the hell? So I go up to the counter and I ask that guy, and he's like, oh, like that's not even it was like flight 55. He's like, we don't even have a flight 55.
How in the world did the Vegas airport even pick that flight then?
No idea, but he said, oh, there is a flight 55, but it's Sioux Falls, South Dakota. And I was like, that would not be good. So I call the airport in Las Vegas, and I'm like, hey, I just wanted to see, like, did you guys mess up on the flight info, whatever? And he was like, what's your name? And gave my name and all that stuff again. He was like, describe the case you have. I described it, and he's like, it's still here. It's still here in Las Vegas. So at that point, I'm like, okay, now I just drove to Grand Forks for no reason, and I still don't have my bow. And this is already like 2 days later. So now I'm into like, I'm really losing time to hunt.
Yeah.
So when bro's like, well, you can shoot mine, like, I don't know. And then like, I've been throwing around the idea for a while, and I was like, let's just go look at bows. Like, I'll just buy one and then worry about that later with the flight, So yeah, I ended up going to Shield Sports Center up there, and which was good because I went to Cabela's first. They didn't really have much, and they were just kind of like the very like ready to hunt bows. And I'm like, if I'm gonna buy a bow, I'm gonna buy something that like I see myself shooting for a while. Like, I'm not gonna buy a bow just to buy a bow right now. So I'm in there and I'm like, is this all you guys have? And the guy's like, yeah. And I was like, fuck. And this is Cabela's, right? So I'm just like, all right, shoot. Like, I guess maybe I'll just have to see when the next flight is for my bow. But then I'm really losing days. And the guy was like, hey, go to Shields over on the other side of town. He's like, they actually have like a pretty good pro shop there. So I go over there and all the guys are super knowledgeable. And I think it was like a couple hours till close too. So we go in there and I'm looking at the Bowtech SR.
Core SR, yeah.
The Core SR. And I'm like set on Bowtech. For whatever reason, I was like, that's probably the bow I'm going to get. And then I'm looking at the RX-7 and it's like a dark green.
Like they have a pretty color.
Yeah, it's a
Hoyt
pretty
also
bow.
has, I think they have my favorite color. It's like this mustard looking color.
The buckskin one or whatever it's called.
Really?
That one's,
Yeah,
it's gorgeous.
So I'm looking at, they had the Matthews lift, but I guess they were like back ordered, so that wasn't even like an option. But I was like just checking it out. And then they had one that someone traded in that already had a sight, drop away rest, literally quiver, everything. It was ready to go, and that was that Venom.
Yeah.
I sent you a picture of.
Yeah, I remember that.
And it was like 1,500, like ready to go. I'm like, that's not bad.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then I'm looking at the RX-7 that's bone dry with like nothing on it for like 1,600 or something, like 1,599. I'm like, I still got to add all this shit to this too.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it adds up.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, because you can be like, oh, I'm going to buy a $1,600 bow, and then by the time you walk out, you're like,
with
your bank sending you a text message like, is this a fraudulent thing that's happening? You're like, no, I'm really doing this. Yeah, no, this is me.
Yeah. Dude,
dropping
like,
3 bones.
Literally, a sight's like 300 plus, a quiver's 200 plus, arrows are 200 plus.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the more pins too, like the higher price it is.
It depends,
right?
Yeah,
then you add a slider, then the price goes up again.
Yeah.
Then,
I was looking at a single pin, and the guy was like, I shoot one. He had an RX-7, pretty much same thing. Same color, everything. And he said he shoots a single pin. And he was like, I really like this one. I was, how long I've been talking about a single pin, but it's hard to like drop that much, and like just in case you don't or whatever. So I'm like looking at it, and I'm like, I don't know. Like I already don't have that much time anyways. I'm already used to a 5-pin slider. So I was like, I'm just going to put a 5-pin slider on there for now and at least just get it dialed for 40 yards. And then I'll just, I'm going to be good anyways. I think my farthest shot would have been like 30. But yeah, so I ended up going to Shields and back to the bows. So I kept shooting the Core.
Mm-hmm.
SR?
SR.
Yeah, Core SR.
Core SR.
Are you awake over there, or what's happening?
Yeah, I thought I was hearing something.
Oh.
I know, I kind of heard that too.
Hearing
Yeah,
something. That was the only thing, yeah.
You're like,
So
I forgot about Dre. So I'm shooting the Core. I like pick 3 bows. So at first, the RX-7, I'm looking at it, I'm like, I don't really like the
riser layout.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know. It was just so different. And the guy was like, he was just saying how much he liked his. And so I was like, whatever, I'm just going to shoot it. But it was like that, the Venom, and then the Bowtech. But I was like, I'm almost positive I'm going to get a Bowtech. And so I'm like shooting the Bowtech, and then I shoot the Venom. And then I'm like, all right, these are both obviously very good. I think I shot that on performance first, and then shot it on comfort, and definitely like comfort better. But I'm shooting, the Venom, and then I shoot the Core, and then I shoot the RX-7, and I'm like, oh my God, this thing shoots so good. But I'm like trying to talk myself out of it. I'm like, no, like, get a Bowtech. So then I shoot the Bowtech again, and then I'll shoot the Venom, and then the RX-7, the Bowtech one more time, RX-7. Just kept doing that forever. My shoulders are getting tired.
That's what you got to do, though.
Because I was like, dude, if I'm going to spend the money, I'm going to buy what I want to get what I want to get. So I tell the guys, like, hey, I think I'm going to go with the Venom. It was just like a good bang for the buck. I was like texting you while I was there, talking to you about it. And then I was like, I think I'm going to go with the Venom. I was like, give me like 5 minutes, though. I'm just going to go grab some other stuff and just kind of think about it. So, like, the more I'm thinking about it, I'm like, Dude, it was like no contest.
You just like that one the best.
Personally, for me, it just fit me. Everything was so good about it, and I was just like...
And that's 34?
I believe so,
yeah.
34, yep.
Yeah. What's the one Jared shoots? His Hoyt?
He has shot 34. Right now he's shooting the 32.
But what Hoyt?
I don't know.
Which one was it? You don't know?
I don't know.
Oh.
Yeah, because I think that Venom was like... Wasn't like 31 or... I forget. It was shorter. But yeah, so I like go get like other stuff, whatever I need. And I'm like walking back. I'm like, it's like night and day. Like, that's the one. So the guys started to like take the riser off and take everything off of it. I was like, hey, I'm going to buy that one. So stop taking all that shit off of it. Like, stop what you're doing. Yeah. I was like, let's go pick out the rest of the stuff. Because then it's like getting close to closing time. Mm-hmm. And I still got to go. We still got to drive an hour back to the farm. So we get to the shop. And I'm actually over in the other side. So I'm using like the truck headlights. Bought a Target. I'm like just out there like in the empty shop. Sighting it in with truck headlights and just going like 20 to 40. And I get it sighted in, I'm like, all right, cool, I'm good. And then it's like 10:30 and I got to be up at like 5. So went to bed and the next day went out and sat and it was like -4. But I just remember and I didn't have a heater because that night my brother got fucked up as usual. Brothers. And he was like, take my buddy heater. And I remember like they got home, like I went home at like 10:30, 11. Those guys came in at like 1. And I'm like, hey, do you have that heater? And my brother's like, oh yeah, I'll find it. He just went to bed. So the next morning, like, I go into town. It's a small town. Like, and I still go there. People like, Coleman? But his brother Greg was in there. He gets coffee there every morning with his buddies. Mm-hmm. He's like, what are you doing? I was like, shit, I'm going hunting. He's like, you get a buddy heater? And I was like, nope. And I told him the story. And he's like, fucking Coleman. And he's like, well, shit. He's like, you just want to follow me to my house? I'll get you one. I'm like, nah, it's good. I'll just grab pocket warmers. So I just grabbed like pocket warmers. And then I remember sitting for like 4.5 hours that cold. And I was like, I could not feel my feet. I couldn't feel anything. I'm like, I don't know what hypothermia feels like. I think I'm good, but I should probably like get up and like maybe walk out of here for a minute. And then the next day I had a little heater. Yeah, that first day was cold.
Yeah, I've never experienced anything below like the teens, and not even like low teens, like high teens approaching the 20s. Yeah. And that's only like briefly in the morning. I've only ever sat in like maybe the 20s, mid 20s to low 30s. I could not. Negatives? No.
Yeah, it was negative. No. I remember that day, like
that shouldn't even exist.
On the truck, it said it was like 3 degrees, and then when I was talking to my buddy Johnny from back there, and then Greg, my brother's buddy, I was like, yeah, it's pretty cold. It's like 3 or like 4 degrees or something like that. He's like, yeah, -3 or 4 degrees. He's like, and I'm like, really? And he's like, yeah, that's how cold it was. And I was like, oh shit. Damn. But I mean, for me, I'm just like grateful for the opportunity. So I'm like, I don't care. I'm just gonna get out there. And that was honestly the first morning that I seen like the most activity.
So did you see like some good bucks out there and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Or like...
So that first morning, yeah, I seen a good 8-point. A bigger bodied. I didn't have a shot on them.
Oh.
So they kind of came in by the corn. And I think they were blind shy because they were like looking. A lot of the deer were actually, because I mean, it was, by the time I put the blind out, I think I had like 3 days to hunt. But they were always kind of a little cautious of it. Besides like the smaller bucks, they literally like pop their head in. Hey, what are you doing? Get out of here. Give him a stone cold stunner, dude, right in the blind. But, yeah, so the first day I seen a lot, and then the last day when I was going in, getting the blind out, and all that was when I seen like 3 really nice bucks.
Dang.
A big 10-pointer, and then the other 2 I couldn't tell what they were because like the visibility was pretty shitty, but they were big, and they were like not far from where I was hunting.
Dang.
So, yeah, but it was fun though.
So whatever happened like 3 days. Whatever happened to your bow? did you just have them ship it back to Utah? Or were
No,
you just like,
so when I
fuck
got back
it,
to
take my
Vegas,
bow?
when I got back to Vegas, I fucking picked it up at baggage claim. They still had it there.
That's
Jeez.
insane.
And what I was thinking was like, this is what I was telling like my brothers in Chelsea. I was like, what if I paid for like a guided hunt, like in Alaska or something like that, and then like your bow doesn't show up, and then it's not gonna show up, and now you just paid, whatever, say $20,000. I guess you'd probably figure it out and have, or maybe you bring backups on that type of stuff. I don't know. But I just thought about like, what about like guided
I'd be
hunts or
asking the
something
guide, like, hey,
be
what do you
paid?
shoot?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So what about the Hoyt, like, really drove you home, would you say? Like, was it the draw cycle? Just
I think
how
the draw
shot felt?
cycle, yeah.
They,
Just how
they
it
do draw
felt.
great.
Because the last Hoyt I shot was whatever when I got that Reign 7, so however long ago that was.
2015. That's when
So
that bow
almost
came
10
out.
years.
Mm-hmm.
I remember then the Hoyt, like, I just didn't like the way it shot. But obviously technology comes along
Yeah,
with
of course.
especially with bows. And I feel like even like the minute changes they make to bows like year to year, it probably seems like it's small, but dude, over 5 years, that's a big deal.
Then it's a big jump.
Or
yeah.
10 years is a big deal.
A 10, yeah, of course. Because each little tiny change year after year,
Mhm.
by the time you reach year 8, that's a lot, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not a lot year 1,
Yeah.
but by year 8, it's like, now we've changed the grip, we changed the draw, we changed, like, oh, blah, 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 blah.
the
everything
sight. We're going to
different.
put the sight through the middle of the riser.
Yeah, like this, which is crazy, by the way.
That's cool.
But
It's wild that, it's it's taken so long to come up with that. Because, like, when you think about it, especially Bowtech that runs, like, the very, like, holy, like, very traditional looking riser is what me and Whitney were talking about. It's like,
I'd say
you already
that's
put
very
holes
true.
in it, so, like, why not just put one in the front to stick the riser through it and make it center?
you mean like
What-
the sight?
Yeah, to stick the sight through. Like, that seems like such a logical thing, but I never thought about it. And then you bought the bow, and it's like, oh, that makes sense.
I
What
feel
took
like
so long
something
to
like
come up with
that, some guy was like, oh, we'll just put it right through the middle. And someone's like, ding, ding, ding.
Yeah.
Good idea.
Yeah.
And he's like,
Matthews
oh,
did it
yeah,
for-
great idea.
Yeah, Matthews did that first with their bridge lock, but this is super cool. I mean, I like it. Just keeping it.
What makes the difference in, because there's, all these patents and whatnot now, what's the difference in Matthew's bridge lock and what Bowtech's now doing? I don't know if I've ever seen Matthew's.
There's just shape different. So, like, the hole is shaped differently.
That's literally it.
Yeah, pretty much. This one's like an oval.
But it
and
still
that
just
one's
goes
like,
through a hole.
Yeah. The hole is shaped differently.
The hole is, yeah. There is a variation in holes on those,
Oh, yeah.
for sure.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, not every hole is the same.
Crazy that just a single different hole can, change a whole pattern.
And the size of the sight, too.
Yeah.
For sure.
Some sights might not fit in certain holes.
No, they literally don't. You try to stick a bridge lock through that, it's not fitting. You try to stick this through a bridge lock, it's gonna be like a hot dog through a hallway. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Shout out to Bridgelock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, bridge lock's dope. Shout out to Matthews. No,
For
it's
some reason, that
great.
conversation made me
Oh,
think of
that was
penguins
great.
mating for life.
of penguins.
Yeah. You know, like how penguin mates for life? Like, it's always going to be that, black gold sight with that hole.
Yeah.
It's always going to be a
That's
bridge
its
lock.
only hole.
Forever.
That's it, forever and
ever.
ever. And that's why I thought of penguins.
Personally,
Yeah.
I like that. Just
One
Penguins
hole
are cool.
forever.
single hole. Yeah.
When they're little babies, they look like they're wearing jackets.
Yeah,
Like
they're
fur
adorable.
coats. Like
Penguins
I said,
are
fur
cute.
coat. Penguins are so cute.
I don't know if you remember
I
at TAC,
wonder-
you guys were watching a video about penguins.
And you came in blasted.
I came in guns a-blazing.
James came in fucking, no!
I came in Eminem on Kamikaze,
Yeah.
I
James came in like,
I got a
dude, blah,
crazy
blah, blah.
It's a question. We've all seen owls. You've seen the picture of an owl, right? Like when it's like you pick up their skirt and they got legs like this long. What do penguins got?
Hmm.
They got short legs, they got long legs.
They
They're
have short
shaped the
legs.
same as an owl.
They have relatively short legs when you watch them.
So is that all
'Cause they
like
kinda
body
waddle.
down to there?
They kind of have a fupa.
I think they're all like upper body.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Like
Oh.
me. Like me. What do you mean?
Hey,
Look
you're-
at these missiles.
But he's got
Those are missiles,
James
bro.
got the legs of owls with the body of a
These are
penguin.
missiles.
Yeah.
Now I want to make a meme of like an owl with a penguin just stacked on top
Oh,
of
you
each
do have little owl, like little bird legs.
Oh, for sure. That's why you gotta wear loose pants. That way people see the physique, they go, wow, he's stacked. They can't see the bottom.
You know how like James like
Until
to
you have
dress
X-ray
like
vision, it's like.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah.
the short shorts are not like the little like college
That's
boy shorts.
hilarious.
Yeah, they may
They're not
not
for
shit is
James.
my
hilarious.
legs may not be big, but they sure are,
Skinny.
relatively skinny and small.
Yeah.
This is fun.
I wonder if my forearms are bigger than your legs.
Probably.
Honestly,
Look
we
at-
should measure them
look
one day because I'm pretty sure they are.
I mean, my arm
My forearms
bigger
might
than
be
that.
that big.
Yeah, I bet.
James's shoulder is for sure bigger than just above his knee.
That's kind of
For sure.
crazy. You never knew you had that much in common with penguins till right now.
Penguins and owls, yeah.
and owls.
Literally.
It's kind of badass.
Single
That is kinda
holes and
badass.
skinny legs.
Yeah.
Yup.
Yeah.
What a great time to be alive.
Life is but a dream. Shout out to Avenged Sevenfold, by the way.
We'll have to listen to that later.
Yeah, we'll
Oh yeah,
listen
that
to
was
it.
another concert. He asked if we'd been going to concerts.
Oh, did you go to that one?
I
No,
did
you
not.
did not
I
go.
picked them up from that concert.
How-
Boy, oh boy.
Didn't you say they canceled the first one?
They
You
did.
guys
yeah.
waiting there, and then all of a sudden, Sin or Matt wasn't feeling good.
Yeah, Matt got sick and he couldn't sing, so they walked out and they're like, "Hey, we're gonna reschedule." So then, 2 months
It's
later,
kind of
we
like
were
you got to
back.
go to a concert and a half. Then,
We did.
though,
We got to
because
see
you got
Falling
Falling in
in
Reverse.
Reverse.
And
Yeah, and then
then-
the next time we got to see Atreyu.
So
So we kind of got a
win-win.
free show a little bit. Yeah, it was
It was a
cool.
win-win.
It was cool. And then just recently we went to Cody Johnson. We saw him play that
Kojo.
Dirt Cheap record, which is
Oh.
phenomenal.
You got to sing that one. You should sing
You
that.
should actually. Maybe tonight.
Dirt cheap?
Yeah, I'll play it for you a few times. Maybe
I don't know if
maybe
I've heard it
maybe you
yet.
sing that for me and the girl off record.
It's a great
You
song.
know, it's phenomenal.
You
That's
want me to
fun.
make you guys dinner, put candles on the table,
Mhm.
sing,
That would
sing
actually-
the song to you guys?
That'd be nice if you want to put on an outfit and serve and everything
Yeah,
too.
it'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
It'd be kind of cool.
What a time.
Yeah.
What a time.
Did you put out all the AZ videos?
Oh, there's one more. No, I got one more at least to come out, but for sure one more.
Which Teddy Boys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Matt's Javelina as
Oh, yeah.
well. Yeah, I'm gonna
Two more.
compile them into one video.
I always liked the AZ
Oh, okay.
videos.
I'm gonna compile them into one. So yeah, the hunting videos are interesting, man. I like making them, but it's funny. A lot of times they don't do the same numbers as me,
To review videos.
testing arrows or something.
That's kind of crazy.
Which is crazy, but I still enjoy posting them. But at the same time, it's I don't want to kill the momentum of the other one, so I kind of try to stagger them out a bit.
Yeah.
Here's a hunting video. Okay, here's 3 archery videos. Get the numbers back on track. Here's a hunting video. They'll dip. You know, some hunting videos Taylor's bison hunt or.
Yeah.
We have a javelina video that did crazy numbers, or I have a couple elk ones that did crazy numbers. But yeah, for the most part, they just don't get the same reception. I don't understand that. Maybe people in the comments can drop. If you watch just the archery stuff, I'd be curious to hear
Or what
why.
makes or
Well, I
breaks
guess,
on
not-
watching a hunting video.
If
for
not
you.
all archers or hunters.
And that I think a lot of people forget. I think
So
a lot of
people,
forget.
maybe some don't want to see that,
Yeah.
but they enjoy watching how many feet per second is this shooting? What
Mhm.
grain? Blah blah blah.
How accurate are the groups?
Yeah,
or
how
whatever.
good looking is Bruce?
Bruce
is-
isn't in every single hunting video, so
Shout out to Bruce.
yeah.
Mhm.
He's gonna come on the pod soon.
Bruce is a legend.
He's gonna be in the pod.
Yeah, I don't think Bruce has any
Yeah,
brothers.
Shout out to Bruce.
I've never asked him. He may.
Maybe technology can speed up and they can clone him, so it's just a gift that keeps on giving
Mm.
forever.
Mm. He always calls Nick corn-fed. That's what he
Yeah.
calls him. He goes, "Hey, is corn-fed coming in?" I go, I don't know, probably not.
I remember we were at I'm pretty sure you know that story where I was
We saw the
downtown
moonshine?
with Chelsea and I think it was Moonshine Flats.
Shot Bruce out there?
Yeah, Bruce.
What?
Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah, it was a
Back
country
in
bar.
his
They had
heyday?
a big. I don't know. It was
3 years ago?
No, this has been a minute.
5 years ago?
Probably before I got the Reign 7. Maybe
it
around.
wasn't.
Oh, maybe around the same time.
Yeah, maybe
a couple
around.
years after. But I remember it's like me, Chelsea, her cousin Bree, her cousin's boyfriend at the time, like a couple more people. Like we're just chilling there at the bar, you know, like waiting to get a drink. And I just fucking Bruce comes out, smack right on the back.
Classic.
And he's like, "What's up, corn-fed?" And I was just like, "What am I doing?" Like we're chilling, whatever. And he's like, "What you want? You want a shot?" And I was like, I don't know. And he's like, "I'm buying you a shot." He's like, "I'm buying us a shot." And like took a couple shots or whatever. And like he left, and everybody's like, "Do you know that guy?" And I was like, "Yeah, he's fucking cool as hell." But people were like, "Oh, dude, we thought it was just like some guy like trying to fight you or something." You know how he is. He's heavy-handed.
Oh, yeah. When I give him a handshake, I have to hold my arm in place so I don't get it yanked out of socket, you know?
You might get injured. Yeah, for sure.
Luckily, I just get a nice firm squeeze, you know.
One thing that's cool about, you know, filming at the boat shop and knowing Bruce for as long as I have is I love going in there now, and he'll be like, "Hey, they're in here because they watched the videos. They drove down from Riverside or whatever." I'm like, that's really cool, you know?
Yeah, that is really
because
cool.
the service is top tier.
Yeah.
And obviously that means a lot to people because they'll make the trek, you know? Yeah, good quality guy. Can't wait to get him on the pod. That'll be a lot of fun, you know?
For sure.
And overall, just, you know, having fun with buddies. That's what it's all about. Hey, what are your thoughts on, you know, last year you were at Bow Disciples Challenge 3D shoot. What did you think? You've been to a lot of 3Ds.
Yeah, I thought it was good. I thought it was great.
You pulled up.
Excellent.
Hear me trying to do an ad.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, it was, I don't know.
It was fine.
It was great, yeah.
Good job.
It was, no, it was fun. I like the camping. I think I only shot like one course though.
Yeah.
I think I shot I did shoot with Taylor and Garrett and Robin and Finn. Shout out to Finn.
Finn, a wow boy.
Oh,
Finn,
dude,
a wow
Finn is,
boy.
Yeah, Finn's a good little boy.
Good dog.
Great
He's
family.
warmed up to me.
Overall,
They're
you
all
know,
used to hate
legends.
overall, I think, you know, I just think it's fun to sit here and chat with buddies. I think the origin story of BD is pretty cool. I don't know. Do you have any more like origin questions?
No.
Anything like that?
I had to remember when what the first video was, because that was like my thought. Was like, how long did it take where the name came up, and then like let's make a YouTube to like actually making a YouTube. So
yeah.
Maybe you guys do that song at the maybe
I'm considering getting up there and banging out those verses and getting Nick on the hook. I think I could get the verses if I spend some time listening to the record, because I think it's a great song. I mean, to me, I think Hunting Wise is a very good song. Shout out to Eminem. Mostly the lyrics were based on that. The hook's the hook's not the exact same. It's a little
some
different.
part of the
It's
song
the
is
hook's a little different.
part
Isn't
of
it
the
like
same.
a free? What do you like? You download like a kind of a free like instrumental.
The instrumental was free, but like the lyrics are primarily the same, but we would like interchange
change a word
words.
with hunting words.
Shout out to whoever did the instrumental that didn't get any recognition for it.
Yeah.
Shout out to you. You the real MVP.
Yeah.
And thank you, because at that time we weren't working a lot and we didn't have a lot of funds, but we did always have funds for
We had
booze
and fun. We had fun. We may not have funds, but we
did
had
have fun. Yeah.
fun. You know.
Yeah, those were some wild
What an era.
times.
What an era.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah. Oh, crazy.
Well, be sure to subscribe to the pod. Also, if you need welding, custom railings, anything like that, truck beds,
Fencing,
this your guy right here,
everything.
fencing. Brianna, if you need social media posts about the Navy, she your girl. And
The way
Appreciate
you put your fingers when you go to give a handshake kind of looks
Are you
like you
doing that-
got like an
are you
issue.
doing that big
What's
dick-
happening there?
Are you
Like,
doing that big dick Trump shake where he makes sure
I'm
that
trying to do the Bruce where he grabs like your
That
almost
was
your
sloppy.
He almost
That
grabs
was
your
sloppy.
wrist. That's like what he does.
should we
I'm
do
gonna
the
grab my
legit
wrist.
Alright.
one?